So I'd like to welcome everybody to this interview with Diane Thomas. And I'd like to welcome you, Diane, as well. I'm really thrilled that you've been able to agree to this interview, even though we can't meet face to face. But I'm really pleased that we can get together this evening. And so if it's okay with you, we can just go ahead with a few questions and we can learn a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
So, to kick off, you're saying, please can you tell us where you live and how long you've been there?
Right, so my present location where I live now, I live in Baseford, Nottingham. I did live in Eastwood, but I've recently moved back to Nottingham for family commitments.
All right, that's great. So how long were you in Eastwood?
I think 4 years I was in Eastwood.
All right. Oh, that's great. So I know a little bit about Nottingham, but I don't know all the different areas. But so are you enjoying living where you are now?
I'm loving it. I mean, I'm in a brand new house. I asked before why it was on plan, so I got to choose a lot of the things that I wanted in the house. So yeah, it's lovely and it's nice and quiet.
Oh, that's good. Yes, we moved into a brand new house, and it was a real treat being able to choose everything and not have to do any work on the house.
Yeah.
So, and we'd love to hear more about you. So, where you work, a bit about your family, social activities, that sort of thing.
Right. So, I've actually got quite a few jobs. I work in a primary school as a TA. So my job hours are from 7:30 in the morning to 6:30 at night because during my school I've got quite a few responsibilities that the head teacher gives me, such as I manage some of the clubs that he runs. So I oversee a lot of clubs because I've been working for the same primary school for about 25 years. And then at weekends, believe it or not, I work in a children's home with teenagers.
Wow.
I know people say, I don't know how you do it, but I just think it's my way of putting some positivity into their lives and giving them a bit more of life experiences as well. So, and then during school holidays, I do work what's called link working. So that's where you go and take children who have got disabilities, you take them out into the community to give their parents respite care. So that's my jobs that I do.
Gosh, you sound really, really busy, but really fulfilling jobs. And there's a thread going through with the children, and that's great.
Yeah.
God, that is good. It does keep you busy.
Yeah. This is why I struggle to find time. Like people want me to commit things. I'm like, oh, if I'm not working this weekend, I'll see if I can get it. So I'm here, there, and everywhere. So yeah, because my weekend jobs, it's a 24-hour shift. So I go the Saturday morning, and then I finish the Sunday morning. So you're there all night, and obviously they're not children who are calm and quiet. They're children that come with all different issues, and we have to take the backlash of what they come with. So
do you have any time for hobbies and social activities?
I do. I usually catch up like school holidays, because like if I'm doing link working, I'm mainly like working a couple of hours, and sometimes I'll only work like 2 days. So yeah, I love sewing. Like I don't know if you can see behind me, but my curtains and my cushions.
Oh, you made those.
Sorry.
That's right. You get these little blips.
Yeah.
So when it's live recording. So, well, I can only admire those because I'm not a great sewer. But sewing has become much more popular, especially during lockdown, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I started gardening during lockdown, so
Gardening and sewing.
I was a new talent.
And family? Have you got family nearby?
Yeah, yeah. But, my family is quite big. Most of my family is in London.
Mhm.
So I've got my sons. None of them. Only one lives at home. But he's since the lockdown, he's been in London because he was working at the stadiums. So like, because of the lockdown, I says, I think you need to stay there because you've been around a lot of people because we've been working in the football stadiums.
Yeah.
So yeah, he stayed there and quite a while until I gave him permission to come back really. And then I've got my dad. I'm a carer for my dad. So usually when I finish work around 6:30, I will pop 3 evenings a week and pop round and see my dad. I've got my brother who I call a miracle because he had a transplant. And he's had such an amazing experience that made me fully believe in God through my brother. He took really poorly and the hospital was going to switch off the machines, and like says, well, there was like they called a family meeting and says nothing else we can do. And then I says, well, I think there's one more thing, you know. I had a little bit of faith but not full faith then. And I says, I'm going to call in a pastor. And I got this pastor and his wife, and they came, prayed over my brother, and with the grace of God, he was sitting up in hospital the next day.
Wow,
And
praise God.
yeah, and my brother has been on the radio station and given his interview regarding this pastor who came and prayed over him.
Yeah.
So, and why not believe after that when you see God's work so powerful?
Wow, that's an incredible story, and praise God for such amazing answered prayer.
Wonderful.
That you heal your brother. That's incredible. And you're part of Reach Community.
I am. And
And how did you hear about that?
right, so you're going to love the story, but you're not going to believe it. So it was Sunday morning, and I was going to buy my Sunday dinner.
Mm-hmm.
I think Reach in Eastwood, it was going out in the community to try and meet people. And this lady came up to me named Maria, who I now know as Maria. She came up to me and she says, oh, can I talk to you? And I thought she was lost because she was quite hesitant at the time. And I says, of course you can talk to me. I'm, you know, and then I says, what is it about? And then she says, it's about Jesus. And I was like, oh my gosh, have you got all day to talk? I says, if it's about Jesus, I says, I'll go on forever and ever. And she was like, oh my gosh, come in our church. And she took me in the church, and they all made me feel very welcome. And I was like, I cannot believe, I feel like I would like to come back to this church. Because at the time, because I'd moved areas, I didn't know no churches, and I didn't know anybody. So I was, even though I was like still had my faith and still believed and still read my Bible at home, I wasn't attending no church. So it was like, well, maybe this might be the church for me. And yeah, I've been there ever since. And can you believe, not only have I attended that church, I also got baptized through that church. So
Brilliant.
yeah,
That's so great to hear, and that you feel so welcome and belong there.
yeah, I think God found me. He knew I was seeking, and he knew what my heart wanted. And you know, I think he answered my prayer, even though I didn't pray for that. But
Yeah.
you know, I think he knows your need. So yeah, that's how I think he found me the
Well, that was a real God moment that Maria was there, just as you
yeah,
were asked.
yeah. And Halid made the joke because when I was getting baptized, Halid made the joke. It's good job you weren't going for a take that day because you would have never bumped into Maria. Because I said, yeah, that's true.
Yes. Well, God knew where you were going to be.
Yeah.
Where she was going to be, and that's great.
Yeah. And it's an amazing church.
Oh, I'm so pleased to hear that. And so I really wanted to interview someone who's single, because I've got quite a heart for single women, as I was single well into my 50s. And I
Yeah.
knew that there were, and I felt there were positives about being single, but also challenges. So I wondered if you could please tell us what you feel are the positives about being single.
Right. Positive for being single is I only need to think about myself and my needs. I can do what I want, and I've not got to turn to another person and say, "Oh, I'll be back in a couple of hours." So I feel like I've got a bit more of a freedom and a bit more control of what I want to do in my destiny. I feel like I've got no interruptions.
Mm.
As if I had a partner who didn't go to church and I did, me and I haven't got that um, in my life. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like I don't. I know it sounds sad to say, but I don't actually miss not having a partner. I think God just feels me so much, so that's taken away that the fact that I'm not, even though I've not got a partner, but financially that's totally different, because financially, as you can see, I have to do more work because
Mm.
I've got one income coming in. Whereas if I had a partner, I'd have two incomes, I'd have a bit more time, a little bit more social life. But I don't feel like I'm missing out.
Oh, that's good to hear because so that it's great that you've been able to identify things that are positive because and I think that'll be encouraging for others to hear, but it's good for others who are not single to hear about this.
Mm.
And even though there were positives, what do you feel are the challenges? You mentioned about financial things like
Finance.
is at work or church or home.
Yeah, so I think on the other side, sometimes it can feel lonely. If you've got your down days and you want someone to talk to, you've not got that partner there. Even though I express a lot of my feelings to God, but sometimes having a person there, or like if you're going through certain struggles, it's
Mm.
like having that extra support. Even though I've got a good networking family, it's not the same as if you had someone who was there all the time. And I think my biggest part where I missed the partner is like when I used to be going to churches, I was having to walk in through churches alone, and that's the hardest thing to do, to walk in to a building, where any building really, and you're on your own. Whereas if you could go along with your partner, you've got that support and you've got that sort of comfort blanket, haven't you? So yeah.
Yes, I used to find that quite hard as well. If you're going into church and sometimes being I'm part of a big church, and I thought, well, I can't see anybody I know, and so even though you've got a good network of friends,
Mm.
that and there were many positives, but also things that are challenges like that you've identified. And so, how do you feel that lockdown's been for you?
Right. It's really weird because um, even though lockdown happened, like I still had to attend work because I was classed as a key worker, both of my jobs. But through my school job, we still had to look after the key worker children. So that was all the like doctors, nurses, children, and we had quite a few in our school, with our school being so local to the hospital. Yeah, so I was still having to go to work. Children's home that didn't close; it doesn't even close at Christmas, so I
No.
still do do that bit. Yeah, so to me, like everybody seemed to enjoy it. Didn't really get that time. I still felt like, well, I'm still doing the same what I was doing. It was just that we had fewer children in school. Yeah. Um,
Did you feel safe at work?
I did, because I only in the not in the fact that school kept me safe. I felt safe because I knew how to keep myself safe. Because I was thinking, with me being ethnic minority, and they kept saying ethnic minorities was on the high risk. I made sure, if I was around certain children, I'd wear protective clothing. Do you know what I mean? And I'm already like over clean. If anything, I'm always got sanitizing in my pocket. So if I did hold a child, and then I felt like, well, I need to, you know, so if anything, I think it made me more conscious that I need to really protect myself even more. And like,
sorry.
sorry, if I was going shopping, I'd wear a mask and gloves. So
Yeah, that sounds like you've been very sensible.
yeah.
What about?
Sorry.
You're right.
Can I just cough a minute?
Yeah.
I've still got a bit of a flu.
Oh yeah, Diane's not been well last week, but thank the Lord it was not coronavirus.
I know.
And so there's been a lot of talk about. I just thought about this, about mental health, and how do you feel that you got, support as a single person during this whole period? So as a single woman during this time.
Well, I mean, I see myself as quite privileged. The fact that I'm a strong woman, I'm strong-minded, and I feel like I've got a lot of control over what I let affect me. And then if I feel like, if I'm a person, if a negative happened, I turn that negative into a positive, because I think if bad things happen in your life, which it does to everybody, try and take a positive out of it. For example, say like if I was in a car accident and my car was written off, I'd be thinking that would be a negative, that I've lost my car. But my positive is I've still got my life. I can replace my car. So that's how I sort of go along in life. So and because of the children's home and the training that I do, I understand about mental illnesses and things like that. So I've got a lot of training surrounding, well-being. So I try and practice some of what I've learned through training.
Wow, that sounds very, very positive, Diane. And I'm just amazed at all the things that you do, and thank the Lord that you've been kept safe through this time. And I just wondered, have you got any practical tips or advice for women who may be watching this who are single, but also for people, ladies who are watching this who have friends who are single?
Yeah, well, because like a lot of people who I know who go to church and who are single, they often say to me, their prayer is for a husband. But I says, well, I wouldn't pray for that. Like if you was given a wish, and that would be your one wish. I think if you've got that on your mind constantly, do you know what I mean? It becomes more of an issue than, whereas to me, like God feels you in other ways. So like I don't need to pray to the Lord to ask for an husband. If he sees that I need one, I'm sure, and I don't know where I'm going to fit one in, but I just want women out there to, to believe in themselves, to get the strength, because I think you need to know yourself and find yourself before jumping into like relationship. And I think once you get to know yourself and you find that who you are, I think that you'll be strong, and you'll think, actually I can survive this. And yeah, if I do feel lonely, I'll do other things. What was the question again?
So yes, that I think you've expressed. I mean, what you said is very, you've been really honest, but it's inspiring and really encouraging. But it's just if you got, I think we've covered it. It's about, how you feel about advice for other single women, and for those who have friends who are single.
Yeah. So also, I'd also like to add to that, because don't feel because I think not having a partner, sometimes it can make your self-esteem feel a little bit lower, because you obviously you walk down the road and you see couples together, or you might go on the bus and you see couples, and it can give you low self-esteem. But you have to think, I'm one of God's children, so I've been made this way. So I've been made beautiful. Do you know what I mean? And if you keep that in your head, you know, that you're a strong, beautiful woman, I'm sure if that's what your prayer is, to have an husband, I'm sure some way, somehow, God will fulfill that. But it's in my life, that's not really that important. Because as you can see, my life is filled. I see God as well as my father, as well as, you know, my brother. He's just filled my mind with other things.
Wow, that's so encouraging to hear. And that you know, you are a beautiful, unique, independent woman, and I think you've had so much great things to say, you know, to single women and to friends who of single women.
Yeah, yeah.
And is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I just think for everyone to faith, believe in themselves, and to trust in God, and to take His blessings, whatever He offers you, take His blessings each and every day. And don't think, you know, I just got this because I just happened to be in the right place. I mean, always see that happens in your life because God's made it happen.
Yeah, well, those are great words.
Yeah.
I'll wait to finish unless you have anything else that you like to add.
And being single, you've got all the bed to yourself.
Yeah, that is true. That's true. That is very true.
You can put your central heating on.
Yes.
Or have extra pillows.
Yes. You can turn up the central heating, you can put the electric blanket on. And you can watch late night films.
Oh, yeah, and of your choice.
Yes, that is right. So it's been really fantastic to finally meet you.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that you've been able to do this interview with me today. And I think it's been very inspiring, and I'm sure the ladies who are watching this will feel that too.
Yeah, I hope, you know, said, you know, people, you know, get a glimmer of hope from it and feel, well, actually, it is okay to be single, you know.
Yeah. Well, I can identify with that, and it is okay to be single, and it's just different situation. It's nothing less than being married at all. It's just different.
Yeah.
So thanks so much, and I'd like to say thank you all for listening, and like to thank Diane for all the hugely positive interview and inspiring talk. And I'd like to say goodbye to you all. Goodbye, and thanks for watching.